Does that mean that consciousness comes from the forehead? No, it's an easy spot that doesn't have hair. So you don't become conscious here and then it spreads to other areas. You're either conscious and functional or you're not.
One of the things that people are often wondering about, especially with AI coming into the forefront, is just what is consciousness? What makes us human? From your own experience with the data that you've seen and the signals that you found, what is consciousness?
There's different definitions of consciousness. There's a whole bunch of people that think there's a general consciousness that we receive. And microtubules and all of that kind of thing. And there's a certain amount of that. However, I'm a tech, and you can hypothesize microtubules in the universe all you want, but what does that do for a tech? You've got to be able to tell me this patient is alive and awake or alive and unconscious enough for me to do surgery. And if you can't tell me that with the EEG, then what are you looking at? Consciousness can be defined as the depth of consciousness from conscious to unconscious. And there's actually a relationship between your glia, which put out slow cortical potentials, and your neural networks that make gamma. And when they're interacting, you're conscious. When they're not interacting, you become unconscious.
And which part of the brain is the glia?
The glia are the white matter. It's the other brain. It's not neural, it's glial. Glia are a different thing than a neuron. In fact, some glia wrap around neurons to make them white matter. White matter has got an astroglia wrap around them to make them high-speed axons. And you have microglia that are your brain's immune system, and the angels that clean up after things, and also the assassin that attack your brain in autoimmune issues and stuff. So there's actually a book, Angels and Assassins, about microglia.
Interesting. And you were saying that when those ones are producing slow cortical potential and then the relationship between the neurons that are producing gamma?
So 0.38 hertz, way below 1 hertz. This is infralow frequency content, 0.38 and 38 hertz. Easy math. How are they related? Is the phase of the slow wave turning on and off the amplitude of the fast wave? Is the phase of the slow wave making lots of gamma when it's in its negative half wave? You're conscious. You're not conscious.
And when you're using the word conscious, do you basically just mean like awake and alert? Like, what do you mean when you say that?
Awake, but not really as interactive. You can see people with their eyes open, tap, is anyone in there? Oh, yeah, I'm here. You can be in stage 1 drowsiness and look eyes open as though you're paying attention. You're in la la land somewhere mentally off in the ozone. And instead of the Biz Index is a commercially available product from Aspect Medical. It's a black box with a number on it. And it has a single big fat electrode that's circumferential electrode inside of an electrode. So it's one big one, and you slap it on the forehead. Does that mean consciousness comes from the forehead? No, it's an easy spot that doesn't have hair. You don't become conscious here and then it spreads to other areas. You're either conscious and functional or you're not. When the surgeon says, is he ready? They're ready to make a slice. And if the person reacts, then they weren't ready. The number on the box, if it's a 100, you are wide awake, alert, focused, ready to go, and sharp as a freaking tack. If you're 98, 99, you're pretty damn sharp.
Yeah.
But if you get to mid-90s, your eyes are open, but you're a little flickery.
Yeah.
If you're in the low 90s, you start to actually look around a little bit. If you're in the upper 80s, you're starting to be in a drowsy enough state to not really be responsive to outside world stuff, but you will wake up if they cut you. They want you to be at about a 60 on the scale. That gets you down to falling asleep at 70, but deep enough that they can cut on you and not pop awake. That conscious to unconscious to deep enough to do surgery on keeps going, but you don't want to. It has flat lines and burst suppression and things like that. If you get too deep, flat line is like brain not having any activity going on. Now, you could be put in a barbiturate coma deliberately and brought back out. You could be flat line, but you can recover from that if you've been put into it deliberately. If you've obtained the flat line status yourself, however, that's it. A flatline EEG is the determination of brain death, and they want to have it done twice, 24 hours apart. You have to assure body temperature. You can't be too cold. The brain can recover from being too cold. Can't have a barbiturate or sedative on board. If the brain is flat, it's not like there's no activity. You're going to see EKG, the heart's still going. You're just looking for brain death. It's dead.
Can somebody be too conscious? Can you go too far in the other direction?
I think we can be fully conscious, but I don't know if that's too conscious. You probably can be too sensitive
Hmm.
to be comfortable. Sensitivity is a different thing. If I'm looking at a dot, but my attention is off to the left side, but I don't move my eyes from that dot, the dot's my focus, but my attention is over here. The right side of the back of my head is going to light up with electronegative energy, priming it for perception. If there is something on the left side, I will see it because I intend to see it. Attention is the intention to perceive. Now, intention has been identified frontally, the Bereitschafts potential, which is one big, long German word. Bereitschafts potential is a slow cortical potential, electronegative potential frontally when you intend to move. So I can sit here, and if you had the electrodes on, you could tell, Jay's intending to move his index finger and his right hand because you're looking at the spot on my left side that moves the hand.
Wow.
And I could quit intending. I didn't move anything. You could tell, oh, he's intending. Oh, he just gave up. He's not intending anymore. Oh, there he goes again. He is intending to move. Now, finally, I move it. The motor area that regulates that goes electronegative in readiness. So your sensory areas go electronegative in readiness to perceive, intention to move, or intention to perceive, which we call attention.
Yeah.
So I'm still staring at that dot, but I shift my attention to the right side. The electronegative over here goes away, and the electronegative over here lights up electronegative hot. So my attention focus didn't shift, but my intention to perceive from one side or the other just shifted. The sensitivity to a perception is sculpted by your cortical readiness to perceive.
Hmm.
The Bayesian brain, we kind of project our next best guess. To a certain extent, a lot of what we perceive is what we've guessed we're going to. And you can miss things that you don't intend to see by simply having the area shut off intentionally.
Yeah.
We sculpt our own perception in a way that's hard to explain to people that you can end up doing it, but it's hard to do.